Guys, well, welcome back to another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. I'm joined tonight by Cliff Markham.
Hey, hey.
We are already into our round one feature match. 20 people out tonight. A little bit less than I would have liked, but I guess people are still trying to gear up into new stand. People might not have the cards they need. People might be staying at home and gearing up for tomorrow's long day of Magic at States 2013, which we are hosting here in Charleston tomorrow. But we do have 20 players, 4 rounds of action for you tonight, and we are nearly done with the first game as we see Alec Myers playing a red-white aggro deck. It's kind of like the old Aristocrats deck he used to play. He's foregone green, obviously, because you lose Young Wolf and some other cards like that you want to. You can't really keep that deck together as it was in the past. But he still has all the aggressive creatures that you would expect. He still has a Cartel Aristocrats. He's playing Lifebane Zombies, and as you see, Soldier of the Pantheon and Imposing Sovereign. And then Adam Vickers, the local legend, as some might call him, is playing a pretty stock of blue-white control list. He was playing this before rotation, and then he's still playing this after rotation. Don't know what changes he's made with the new set, but blue-white always going to be a pretty viable format, or archetype, I should say.
During testing for states, it's performed very well.
Yeah.
And it's one of those decks that if I had the cards, I would probably consider playing. I mean, it's strong no matter what.
So we're going to see an Azorius Charm here take out one of these creatures. It's at least targeting the.
Is it Aristocrat?
He's targeting the Cartel Aristocrat. Alec going to gain 1 life off the oft-overlooked second static ability of Soldier of the Pantheon.
It's so good.
Yeah, and then Alec deciding here if he wants to sack his Soldier to give the Aristocrat Pro blue, in this case, probably since Adam is leaving blue mana open, or if he just wants to put the Aristocrat back on top. One way or the other, we're only getting in for 4 here.
I'm pretty sure he either missed the trigger this time or last time.
Yes, you're right, because he missed the detention sphere.
Yeah.
Only one of those things could have.
It's too late now.
And there's a Quicken just going to cycle it. I think these blue-white decks play 1 copy of Quicken, so you can instant speed a Supreme Verdict.
Yes.
And it does just cantrip well. There's a second white source that Adam needs for the Supreme Verdict in his hand.
Did he gain a life? He did not gain a life. There he goes.
Yeah. He's gaining a life. Oh, I think he's up to 23. I think he did gain the life off the first Attention Sphere, but they had just updated their life pad and not the iPod for our benefit.
Yeah.
So Adam may have stabilized here. We just got the Cartel Aristocrat on board. That is going to be a 3-turn clock the way it stands, but as we all know, especially when playing blue-white, it's only the last point of damage that matters. So an end-of-turn Revelation, going to draw Adam 3 cards and put him back up to 7 life. So now on a 2-turn clock as Alec adds another Cartel Aristocrat to his board. But he is kind of stuck here. I think he's got Lifebane Zombie in his hand. He is stuck on 1 black here.
And we're getting to that point with blue-white control. You're going to see a Jace hit the board. And
Yeah, Jace is pretty good in this spot. Slows the game way down.
There he goes. On cue.
So I figure you just up the Jace here, buy yourself 2 extra turns, and then next turn, see, Alec's not really in a position where he can attack Jace either. He's going to try and force the last bit of damage home. So Jace is just going to get to tick up unabashedly. And I think Adam has a Detention Sphere, which is interesting because it's not really as good against. Usually, it's great against the.
Drawing another card on Quicken.
No, that was a Dissolve.
It was a Dissolve.
The new Dissipate Scry.
Oh,
It does look a lot like Quicken.
Yes, it does.
I thought it was Quicken as well until he did the things that Dissolve would have done,
Yes.
which is counter and put it in something. There's an Encroaching Waste from Vickers. It'd be interesting to see if he takes out the black source Alec has. And he is going to go ahead and be very aggressive with it. So stranding white cards in Al's hand. There we see the power of the unicorn, whatever that guy is. Is that a 2-base unicorn?
That is a 1/1. Basically, it's the guy that gives all humans flying whenever he attacks with them.
Oh, so it's white-black humans, basically.
Yes, looks like it's what it's going for.
Of course, this deck loses. I'm just going to leave it at aggro.
Yeah. Either way. It's not really a tribal.
So we're going to take 1 damage here, again with Jace's delayed trigger kicking in, and then Adam's going to chain another Sphinx's Revelation, this time for 4 it looks like, since the Guildgate just came into play, tapped. So Adam living precariously here.
But he's doing exactly what the blue-white game plan is.
Well,
I mean, this is
how they
you go.
draw it up, isn't it? He's getting very close to ultimating that Jace as well. At some point, Alec is going to have to attack into it just to keep it honest.
I'm pretty sure he just got very greedy with his Jace. I've seen that come back to bite people before.
Well, he's got another Sphinx's Revelation in his hand too, so it doesn't really matter. The games in which you draw and cast 3 Sphinx's Revelation, usually a pretty good spot for you to be in. And I think what's going to really this game is really hinged on.
Just Elspeth? Nope.
No, divination. Yeah, these decks don't really have any like they're kind of forced to play like a couple copies of divination just from the lack of like honest cantrips in this format. I know, looking at the Star City lists in the past, that was something that showed up in a lot of them. So Alec going to kick in here for 2 damage. It looks like. No, he's just going to split it up there. So 1 at Jace to keep it honest, 1 at Adam to keep the pressure on, and then he's going to add a Daring Skyjack, 3-1 with Battalion. It gets flying, but that Ratchet Bomb on 1, when it gets to 2, it's going to blow out everything on Alec's board except for the Soldier, right?
Yes, you're correct.
We see another Encroaching Waste in his hand. The Sphinx's Revelation we already knew about, and Adam has located his Aetherling. So, we're obviously going to end of turn Sphinx here for $1 billion.
Yeah. That seems good.
Well, I've never once complained with any magic spell I can cast that resolves and draws me about, in this case, what, 7 cards?
1, 2.
Down to 3. And there's a Mutavault. And then, as expected, end of turn, drawing 7 cards, going back up to 10. Nothing like a Brain Geyser. So clearly, all Adam needs to find here for this game to be basically over is the Supreme Verdict. Yeah.
Well, you don't even need Supreme Verdict now.
At this point, you just need an answer to the Mutavault, but the Jace +1 is good enough to keep it on a 1/1 basically. Oh, and there's another Encroaching Waste we already knew about, so he's got that under control.
There goes the Ratchet Bomb. Clear the board.
Yep. Tick Jace up again.
Yep.
Leave your Encroaching Wastes mana up, I would imagine. He's
Do
gonna.
you go ahead and play your Aetherling?
No, you play the Elspeth.
Oh yeah, that's good. Every day, all day.
You know, when this Elspeth came out, as I like to call her Fat Elspeth.
Oh yeah.
I was not impressed simply because they've printed a lot of amazing 6-cost cards in the last few years. Not to mention a certain cycle of Titans, not to mention Aetherling, lots of things like that. So I think we're just kind of jaded by how good Magic cards are.
Yes.
But Elspeth is very good in this archetype. She makes it almost impossible for you to attack through.
And looks like that's
her ultimate is pretty easy to get to, and it's one of those ultimates that just wins you the game.
You know, of all the playtesting we done building up for states, me and Brandon Gibbs and Brandon Hart.
The double Brandon.
I've never seen her ultimate. The game never lasted long enough for her to have to. Once she hits the board and they've got a Jace online,
that's that circumstance where it's an embarrassment of riches, where you don't have to ultimate her. Just making making 3 guys for 6 power and just occasionally like gaining the life.
Yeah.
You know, if the worst thing else with this is late game, 6 mana, put 3 guys into play, gain 6 life. Yeah. Like that's fine where you want to be for that archetype. Obviously, I mean you're not going to put it in an aggro deck, but she does do a lot of work. So much so that I've considered putting her in my cube.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, your cube is pretty nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I think she's better than just like a Chroma's Vengeance or some kind of sweeper like that. She basically does the same thing.
Can I go ahead and mention that I feel ashamed to have this beard when I'm on camera with you?
I mean, that's what happens, Cliff. You run with the big dogs, you're going to get bit. You know how it works. Do want to thank everybody for watching. How many people we got? 80? We've only been broadcasting for about 10 minutes, and we've got 80 people watching. So, guys, I know you got a lot of options, things you can watch on Twitch, and a variety of things. So we appreciate you choosing to watch our silly little broadcast from a broom closet in a town you've never heard of, in a state you probably didn't know exists. But we appreciate. Well, I mean, they should. It's not. It's all. Things are all relative. It's not. You can like both beers. You don't have to choose one.
That's good.
It's not like Highlander. There can be more than one. But we do want to thank you guys for watching. We also want to thank our sponsors here. Obviously, Lost Legion Games and Comics, letting us stream their FNM each and every week. We're back into Standard. I know people last week we did a booster draft. Normally people are excited about that. Last week people were upset. They wanted to see new Standard. So apologies for that. But we are back into Standard tonight. Got 4 rounds to come as well as the top 8, so it should be pretty fun. I also want to thank the folks over at AffinityForCards.com. We obviously encourage you to support your local game store, as we do here at Lost Legion, but we all know that there's cards you can't find in your local case, and in that case, head over to AffinityForCards.com. Cliff, if you use the coupon code Lost Legion, all one word, they're going to give you 5% off your first orders. That's not too bad. I will tell you that the prices at Affinity for Cards are at or below TCG Player mid-price, so you're going to get a good deal regardless.
That's good.
Check that over there. And then also, you can't really see it because Adam's score pad's kind of covering it up there. But we do want to thank the folks at inkedplaymats.com for hooking us up with that awesome double playmat that you see there.
Yep.
Cliff, you were the first one around here to order a playmat from them.
Yes.
Those guys are incredibly nice to deal with, so if you need custom playmats of your own, or you just want to buy some cool playmats at a cheap price with some awesome art on it, they start at $10 over there, so head over to inkedplaymats.com.
I actually thought about doing a raffle to give that playmat away at times, because I don't play that much anymore, and it seems unfair for it to stay rolled up in a tube.
You got to save it though. That's your playmat.
It is an awesome. I get a lot of
compliments.
It will be out tomorrow. Hopefully,
and States, of course, Cliff, you're talking about tomorrow.
Yes.
That would be States. Now I know there's a lot of confusion, mostly locally, but I imagine around the nation there are two tournament franchises that are running events that they call States in back-to-back weekends. And while I won't get into which one is better, because I don't think one is necessarily better than the other, the one we're talking about is the Classic event that used to be run by Wizards and has been run for the last few years by Sun Mesa Events out of Arizona. That is the States franchise, States 2013 this year. And we will be holding the West Virginia one tomorrow. All of them will be held across the country on Saturday and Sunday of this weekend. But we'll be having ours here tomorrow. Registration starts at 8, so if you're local, head out to the Charleston Civic Center. 8 a.m. registration, 10 a.m. sharp. We're going to start the tournament. Not the kind of tournament you want to be late for. We're expecting a really good turnout. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, as of right now, we are not currently planning to stream it due to some technical difficulties. And by technical difficulties, I mean the Civic Center wants a whole heap of money for our broadband connection.
Yeah,
and since this is a net money losing venture, I don't want to go even deeper in the hole than that. But I do plan on recording the event and posting it to our YouTube channel, just like we did last year. Last year's State Finals, the most watched video in the history of my YouTube channel.
It was a very good game. I was actually standing over 100 shoulders.
There were a lot of good matches last year. Obviously, the deeper that goes, 7-8 round tournament, you're going to get some really good magic towards the end, as well as the top 8. And they're always playing it out. That's for bragging rights are very important in that tournament. So there's no let's chop the top 4 and head home. So should be some good magic. One of those participants tomorrow, just joining us, Dave Snow.
Legendary Dave Snow.
I don't know. I mean, he's not a local legend like Adam Vickers.
No, well, who can be?
Only dream.
Yeah.
You can only dream. Dave, we've already talked about that your choice for tomorrow's event is red cards. And the fact that you're joining us now, less than 15 minutes into round 1, usually indicates that you won your round 1 feature, or your round 1 match.
10 turns of magic, smoked a cigarette.
So, yeah.
Living the dream.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for tomorrow myself. Hopefully not being on the other
I think the only people hoping for that tomorrow are you, Dave, and everyone else playing, because there's going to be a lot of mountains.
There is.
Just like there is at every States tournament. That is something that will be a lot of red cards, a lot of, I think, blue-white base control decks, and a lot of Fleece Mane Lions and Loxodon Smiters, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if anything other than those kind of core decks that came out of Star City show up.
I do know of a few rogue decks that are going to be there. Some of them may even have a chance, especially depending on
as long as they're not piloted by you, then they got.
Yeah, well, not everyone can be at my level of play. Okay.
I mean, you are a Reds fan.
Well, what are you going to do? Sometimes your team just absolutely blows it in the postseason.
All right. Well, we're back to the action here. Taking a while to sideboard here. I don't actually know what. That's one of the things with the new format. Tomorrow we will have a deck list, which will be nice.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily know what people are bringing in as their sweet sideboard tech. I imagine Alec is bringing some number of Obsidat in this matchup. But starts off with a good curve here of turn 1 Tormented Hero into turn 2 Daring Skyjack. Daring Skyjack is the kind of card that you, when someone plays it, you kind of laugh at them being the little kid deck, and then when it beats you in 4 turns, you realize that sometimes Blade of the Six Pride is good enough to get there. So Adam's Syncopate, taking out the not the Banisher Priest, but the Frontline Medic, so slowing down the beats here. And we're going to see a Precinct Captain. Precinct Captain is an interesting card I've seen in a lot of these, not necessarily this control deck, but like the barely Boros decks,
any of
like the mono white deck that
vibes.
just play Reckoners and Boros Charms. Like, they play that guy too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good. Turn 1, you play the Soldier, you play Boros Elite. Turn 2, Precinct Captain. That's good, especially if it versus control. I mean,
and we just had a stream first. We just saw the first Thoughtseize ever cast in Standard on our stream, as Detention Fear hits the bin off of Alec's Thoughtseize. Very important in this case, considering he has 2 Tormented Heroes in play. So Adam's serving in here with the...
is that a Brave the Elements?
Yeah, serving in here with his Precinct Captain, which almost always signals Supreme Verdict on its way. Would you have used your Brave the Elements there?
I think he was just trying to get some damage in, just to be honest.
So Vickers using the Encroaching Wastes to bin one of the lands. Lifebane Zombie whiffs, obviously not that great against Adam's deck. I don't think it has any targets, but it is still a 3-power Intimidate, right?
Yep.
I don't figure you're cutting creatures in this matchup if you can.
You can still have like Precinct Captains.
Oh, Precinct, yeah, you're right.
Etherlink? I think he...
Etherlink is blue.
Yeah, that's true. Never mind. Maybe I'm a retard and don't roll my magic
Well,
cards anymore.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah.
So Jace makes an appearance, as I imagine he will in a lot of decks for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
We're going to mini Fact or Fiction here. Azorius Charm split with Dissolve and a Hallowed Fountain.
Takes things a wish charm.
The charm gets there. There's a Banisher Priest, so we're going to... Oh, the perfect answer. I thought we were cycling the Azorius Charm just to get some value out of it. But no, we're just attacking in with the Lifebane Zombie. Are we doing this to Adam? I think Alec is deciding. Now he's going to go ahead and take out the Jace.
Probably a very wise move. It can slow him down a lot.
And we've now reached the Aetherling portion of the game, and Adam just throwing it down there against. He's just living the dream here. He's not worried about the removal spell. He's not worried about a Banisher Priest, and he gets away with it.
Oh, that's Intimidate.
Hmm.
I forgot I had Intimidate.
Yeah.
Snap block with Aetherling.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're going to be pumping, more than likely.
Well, I don't know if you will at this point or not. I don't.
He has to cast spells. The Supreme Verdict.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alec took the damage off of the Thoughtseize, but
if he...
at this point in the game, it's up to them to have marked that. I'm not going to suggest one way or the other here. So Verdict, post-blink, takes out the Aristocrat. Looks like this game is going to be over.
Yeah. And so many people like Thoughtseize is not a card that a lot of players have played with. If you know, especially like Alex, I don't know how long he's been playing, but from his age, I can't imagine he played,
Lorwyn, Standard.
So.
Well, we did find another creature here in Soldier of the Pantheon, so we can at least force through 2 damage if we need to, if Adam doesn't add something else to the board. Is that the Exile a White card?
That's good.
What's that thing called, do you know? Exile a White card is fine.
Exile a White card?
Yeah.
That's what it'll ever be.
Professional. We're on top of our game right now. 102 viewers today. Very nice.
And I think what you're seeing there with the Mutavault is that Alec forgot that he could blink the Aetherling when he attacked in, and so Adam just said he was going to blink it, and Alec just went ahead and binned it ahead of time. It really doesn't matter. This game is over. Obviously, we can pump for the win here. And I think Alec was a little bit screwed by... no? Oh, he was at 12. My bad. Thought he was at 8.
Did he blink him after combat damage, maybe? After the block? Probably had to be what it was. No,
he was tapped. He had attacked in. I don't know the details. I don't know much, Cliff. Glare of Heresy, thanks to Zarkin Patch 89. Thanks to that guy.
Adam counts his man and decides that he has a buttload. It's a technical term.
I was going to say, Adam rolling ever slowly on his way to victory.
Yeah.
So with the 25 minutes left, we should have time to duck out and pick up an extra feature match. So I'm going to stick out here in a second.
You're just hopeful that there's not a ton of red out there. Everyone's
there
already
is.
done.
I know there's at least you, Scott Driver, just some deals playing like a bigger red deck,
yeah.
But
big red,
yeah. I know. Brian, did you play against Brian Gross?
No idea.
Fisherman's Hat, Big Beard.
Yep.
Was he playing red?
No, he's playing Death Ray Shamans.
Okay.
He's playing a green-black.
That's cool. I'm on board with that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's out there.
I don't think there's going to be much. You may have somebody.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to not look.
Yeah,
you guys can talk about what you expect the format to be like tomorrow.
What? Format-wise, what? Red, blue, white, and Esper. That's pretty much what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd expect it to look a lot like the Star City event.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of innovation to come out of it, but
no.
it's kind of what you expect out of the first event out of the new format.
Yeah.
Looked a lot like it's like a lot of block decks. A lot of the mono red decks were just adaptations of the popular red deck in previous standard.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, it's already battle tested. I mean, why not? I mean, it didn't lose a whole lot. You throw in a couple of the new great cards that fit right in, and you're on your way. It pretty much had an advantage over every other deck type. So, but yeah, there was a couple of smaller tournaments, some of the TCG tournaments and things like that. There was a mono white that won one of those, but from what I've been able to gather, it wasn't a very large turnout for that tournament.
Yeah.
And
all right, I got one match on the watch list.
Oh yeah.
On the watch list. So Scott Driver and Jonathan Wright are in game 2, and if that one goes to 3, we'll get them.
Wow, going to game 3.
Well, if they go to game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, I know Scott's playing mono red, and I can only assume Jonathan Wright is playing blue and white cards.
I like that guy. He likes an island.
Huh? He's like a mini Dave Snow. He's going to Marshall. He loves blue and white cards. Did we talk a little bit? So we do have some time to kill. Like I said, guys, we only have 10 matchups tonight. There are a couple of there's a lot of new players out there that I've not.
There's been some new faces the last couple of times.
So that's always a little bit difficult to try and number one, get people to play on camera. Number two, to get them to move during the middle of their game. So we're just going to have to deal with that a little bit. This camera's like way behind. It looks like. Don't know what's going on there. But then also, with only 10 matchups, there's a limited number of. See, this is even better. We're gonna do some tech support.
Oh yeah.
Boop, boop. That's a little bit better. So while we wait, a little bit of lag there on the stream. Well, yeah, that's a given. If we're operating on just a little bit of lag, that's kind of like a moral victory. So, question. Let's talk to Cliff. You've been preparing for states tomorrow. Dave, you play on Moto. You're preparing for states tomorrow. What do you think tomorrow? Let's say we're going to have 80 people tomorrow. How many of those people are going to be playing red cards?
Honestly, I really don't believe it's going to be as many as you're thinking. I really would say a quarter of the field, probably at least.
Well, that's how many I'm thinking actually. Yeah. So. I think a solid 25, 30 of them. I think if you just count red cards in general, it's probably most closer to half of them.
You're going to have a lot of Boros. You're going to have a lot of red green trying to go. I've ran into some of that.
This guy's playing red cards, so all bets are off.
Yeah.
I mean, he moved from Sphinx's Revelation over to Fire Drinker Satyr. That's like going from vegan to immediately eating that 72-ounce steak in Amarillo, Texas. You know, the big Texan or whatever it is. So quite a drastic jump. So we're looking at the Star City results from last weekend, which for whatever reason they made this pretty much awkward decision, I think, to like, hey, everyone's really excited for the first weekend of New Standard. Let's play Theros Team Sealed on Saturday. I know a lot of people were upset about that.
I turned it on there and I looked and I was like, this doesn't look like Standard.
When I realized it wasn't, first of all, I wasn't going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
But when I saw that it was Standard, I told Sealed, there wasn't even a chance I would flip over for a little bit just to see, because I really don't enjoy Standard coverage. in general.
But you do standard cover in general.
Yeah, well, I just don't like. I'm just not as excited about some. But even I was interested at that point to see like what are people going to play.
Yeah.
It's a completely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, there's going to be red cards, but you don't know what else is going to show up. If it's going to have an interesting brew. But there's basically three decks that came out. So you have the blue-white / Esper control builds, the same kind of archetype that have been played since Brian Weissman's The Deck back in like '93. Same exact cards you would expect: counterspells, removal, sweepers, planeswalkers. There you go. Jace base decks, Jace Sphinx's Revelation decks. You got those. Then you've got the red cards. You've got, and as far as I'm concerned, the Boros decks are the same thing. It's basically the best red card is also the best white card in Boros Reckoner, give or take. I know that's hyperbole, but Boros Charm and just aggressive creatures. Then you've got like this in between, like green-white or Naya or red-green. Like you have these like mid-rangey decks.
They're moving. Scott and Jonathan are moving.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I mean, that's basically what it's boiled down to. It's like Loxodon Smiter decks, Jace decks, and Boros Reckoner decks. Am I missing something? Is there
I still think there's a lot in between them. Even between like the
it's very accurate. I don't. I would stream if we had a 30-person Legacy tournament here on Friday night. I would stream the heck out of that.
Oh
but,
yeah.
You do when life gives you lemons. You do standard coverage. Is what you do.
Well, you did the first Legacy event.
It was a hot mess, and I never did it again.
It was, but you're a man who likes Magic the Gathering.
I do.
And
I'm fine with standard.
Sometimes you have to play Magic the Gathering.
It's just the format can get a little bit stale, and it got very stale in the last 6 months or so.
Yep.
But you think there's a lot in between? What other?
Even between like the mono red decks, the two that made the top 8, like the Owen Tartanwell deck, like your 20 land, 12 1 draw kind of deck.
That's your classic red deck wins kind of.
It's more like
it's more of a
classic slide deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say slide because there's only 10 burn spells in it.
And then even like the guy that won, his is pretty different. Like he's I just sort of kind of like that as like an all-in Fnatic deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Fnatic and Magus making a huge impact. I mean, going from, we did do the pre-release stream, and it did a lot of work. I mean, there's a couple players that had. I think actually Michael Taylor had it in his, and it does a lot of work because number one, it's like a reasonable body, and then it's always going to get him for like 4 or 5, especially in limited. And when you're playing a Reckoner deck or you're playing Ash Zealots and stuff like that, like. It's going to get in there for a lot of damage.
Oh yeah,
and
that's more of the build that I'm leaning towards. Using that
more the all-in, and you are right. It is more of a slide deck than anything because it's you're winning through the combat step mostly. You're not just burning them out.
This deck, it's more of it plays more like a big red kind of deck.
Uh-huh. Well, you're playing 4 drops.
Yeah, just 4.
Yeah. But that's 4 more than most decks.
Yeah, you can fit a Chandra in there.
The last four drop I cast with Mountains was Koth, and he's a lot better 4-drop than Fnatic of Maga.
Get the Thunderbolt Hellkites in.
Huh?
Missed out on him.
I wouldn't have played him.
He's a treat.
He's a good man. I do want to put him. He is cubable. He's cube worthy.
But I love how he was so under the radar for so long. Like you could pick him up for $8 and $9, and then all of a sudden it was like $40 card.
Well, people forgot that 5/5 evasive creature with haste was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to make a big monster and attack someone to death with it.
That's true.
The thing with him is he never just got in for 5. Like when he Thunder married their team, you were getting in for 12.
Yeah.
Like he was tapping a Restoration Angel or an Angel of Serenity or something.
He was very well placed in a Lingering Souls Restoration Angel format. Yeah, he was a good one. Not upset to see him go. With him and his buddy Thragtusk.
Well, it's impossible for the standard metagame right now to deal with the old one. Me and Brandon Hart tested this out last night.
Just played an old deck against
He played his Jund deck against the new mono red, and he absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah, Tragic Slip would be really good in this format.
Yeah. But like turn 3 Huntmaster is not bad either.
Yeah, I think people forgot that. Like, I think the biggest card that the non mono red, the non blue white decks lost is Farseek.
Yeah.
Like Farseek really makes those Jund decks and even the Naya decks kind of work depending on how you're building them. But I don't know. I figured Dahmer decks are still a real thing. Like I think in the first weekend when a big tournament like that, you're just going to see we're all going to default to our favorite archetype amongst like the three major archetypes, which is like creature-based mid-range, mono-red, or a slow deck. And then everyone's going to figure out how to beat those. And then eventually someone's going to come up with a cool deck at the Pro Tour. But no one's going to reveal that info until the Pro Tour.
You got a couple weeks to wait.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll discuss some more metagame breakdown that you probably won't care about, but it'll keep us busy. But right now, let's go into Game 3 here. So it looks like Scott Driver playing Mono Red got the first one, as he likely should in this matchup. Jonathan Wright got the equalizer in Game 2, playing Blue-White Control. Or wait, no, Jonathan must have won the first one, because he played first in this one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. You are correct, sir. Yes.
We're seeing a classic Wright brother move here, but I think a long time about playing that. 14 minutes to decide to play it.
It's a big option.
Well, what confused me the first time
I kid because I
like both
respect.
Of those guys. I mean, they're really good Magic players. Both brothers are.
Of course.
But the first time I played Jonathan, when he went to tap like multiple lands, he tapped his top blue and then went back and untapped it and then tapped everything.
That is I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've mentioned that to Scotty before. That is how Wright brothers tap their mana. If one is tapped, they untap it, then tap all the lands.
Yeah. Well, see, I got to play them back to back. See, first Jonathan beat me, then Scotty beat me.
Well, I assume they beat you.
You know. So I mean, I got to notice things like that when you're sitting there losing.
All right, so Azorius Charm deals with the Rakdos Cackler, and Scott follows up on turn 2 with an Emissary Chain into Fire Fist Striker here. So improving his board state a lot. Emissary is still a good card. I think nothing has changed there. Burning Tree Emissary single-handedly keeping Ash Zealot from being... Are you playing both?
No, I'm just playing the Burning Tree Emissary.
Yeah, because you can't play Ash Zealot if you're playing Burning Tree Emissary, can you?
Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah, the deck that won the Star City, that it has both in it.
And do we know what that card was?
It's usually pretty good.
Do you know what that card... That was the card where they gain 4 life and it exiles a creature 2 or less?
Last Breath.
Last Breath?
Yeah.
And that's the mode it is, right?
It's Mercadia Mass Block hit.
Oh, is it a reprint?
Yep.
Yeah.
From Blue... watch out for Blue Skies. Russian Airship is a 3-power, so I can't get it.
No, that card's all about exile and Lens City.
Yeah. That was an awful time for Magic. That was so bad they had to change the rules of Magic to make Magic playable again.
That's when I stopped playing. Was right after that. I went
there
out
were a
and
lot
bought,
of times where people stopped playing because they did something really wrong.
Yeah. Well, I bought 4 boxes of that set, and then I got it home and I opened it up and I was like, this is really bad. And then I was like, I'm going to sell these cards, and it's like they're not worth anything.
Yeah, they're not. I actually, when I got back into Magic after my original run as a kid, it was when I was in college, bought 1 each of Mass Block, regretted it.
Yeah.
And then when I went back, a few years later to see if any of them were worth anything, no, they're not.
Flame Rift.
I had a Foil Days. I opened a Foil Days when I was a kid, so that one was worth like $40, $50. But
3 of those.
I'll just rub it in. I'm Dave Snow. I'll go 3.
Got all
Big
the
time.
Yeah, he is pretty big time. So Jonathan mulling over his choice here. If he plays a 4th land and then Verdicts, so Quicken just to draw a card.
Yeah.
So these decks are playing Quicken. Is that just so we can end of turn Divination?
No, I don't hate it. Like,
They only play like 1 of them.
the thing is, I was playing a lot of Blue-White last weekend, and I was only playing 26 land, and it was brutal. I wanted like 28, maybe 29. I mean, it's cutesy that you can do that.
Even with all the scry and everything, you still found yourself wanting more lands.
Well, Scry doesn't draw the cards.
Well, no, but at least it lets you set up to where you can.
Yeah,
kinda
but
filter
most of
through
the cards that Scry in this deck,
The thing with Scry is all the Scry cards are bad except for that Sphinx.
do you play that Sphinx?
Oh yeah,
The one where you can discard?
I'm a big fan of that guy. Yeah,
What's his name called? Prognosticator Sphinx? Or what?
Beard Sphinx is what he's called.
Did I just make that up?
He's got a Sphinx, big beard.
So activate Mutavault and get in for 6, dropping Jonathan down to 12 here. And add another Mutavault on board, so Jonathan facing down 8 power attackers in this next attack. More importantly, Scott finding 2 Mutavaults, so Supreme Verdict not nearly as good as it would have been previously. We just saw Vickers get done playing Blue-White, and he's playing a couple copies of Encroaching Waste. It seems to be pretty good in this format, because it seems like relatively slow, and everybody has Mutavaults, and mana bases are a lot more fragile at this point.
Yeah, the mana's a lot worse losing the
Buddy
stop
lands?
land, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But we kind of think that the Devotion land might could be a thing as well. So it's just
Oh, I think that card's very good.
No, little bonus.
The Temple of Nyax, whatever, some weird word. So there is the verdict as we expected. Scott serving in for just 2 here. He's going to add a Fire Drinker Satyr.
That just lame weird.
Some would call that the Zach Evans magic card. Many people did upon its spoiling, because I have horns, apparently. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. That is the card that we're talking about, which can basically, in the right deck, be a Cabal Coffers.
Well, even looking at like the Fnatic deck from the Star City event, well, you can get 6 mana and play a whole bunch of spells in 1 turn. It's not hard to do.
I've never been upset tapping Cabal Coffers for mana. Never in my life.
It's been alright.
Alright, so Jonathan in a spot here facing down 6 potential power of attackers next turn between the 2 Mutavaults and the Satyr. If he draws a land, Scott can pump the Satyr. Well, he can do nothing with the Satyr now as it's been detained.
How many cards does
And
Scott
sent to detention.
Looks like 2.
have? Does he have Skullcrack and something else?
He is sporting House of good grief, Lannister.
That is, yeah. Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about the sleeves, or I was like,
See
where's he
how
going
long
with
I'm
this?
gonna lose my geek card if it takes me that long to come up with Game of Thrones. Dave, you watch Game of Thrones?
Watch it on DVD.
Digital video disc.
Absolutely, not even Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So,
I watch it on my buddies give me their HBO Go password.
must be nice.
Alright, so there's a Burning Earth, and it does connect, so that's a pretty big game here.
Actually, is it legal to use snow-covered mountains in play?
Those are not snow-covered. Are you talking about the...
Those are Cold Snap Mountains.
Yeah, those are Cold Snap.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were
I
actually
was
talking
reading. I
about...
was reading the chat here.
I was also talking about, because Jonathan's also choosing the Ice Age art for regular Island.
That's what print of the year it was born. Third back
1993? 4? 93.
about right.
93, I think.
God, I feel like an old man.
He's
now.
18.
Really?
Yep.
Where
No,
are
not even. He's probably born in
See,
95.
you're what, 32, 33?
I'm 57 years old,
Ooh,
Cliff.
nice.
No, I'm actually 32.
So I'm the oldest one in here. That's a shame.
I'll be 33 very soon.
I totally
I'm still
approve of those
32.
islands.
Huh?
Yeah, I do like the art.
Right now, Jonathan's going to approve
They need to be
of
the cup islands.
not being able to tap any of his mana.
Those are just horrible. I love it.
So he's going to take 1 to de-sphere the Burning Earth, which just seems like a fine trade-off.
Yes, it does.
The D-sphere seems to be pretty important in this format. Not that it wasn't before, but you do lose O-ring, and it's not like the threat density isn't just as varied. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things you want to be hitting. A lot of enchantments. A lot of planeswalkers. We were talking about a new Elspeth. I like to call her Fat Elspeth earlier. You a fan?
Oh yeah, she's the real deal.
You have to be a fan.
Like, I see the blue-white decks and wonder why, like,
Serving him for 4.
I'd much rather be playing an Elspeth than an 8th Blink.
Can you not play both?
Not at the same turn. You'd have to have a lot of mana.
Thanks, Cliff. Thanks, Cliff. Also, Cliff, can I get an update? Is the sky still blue and the Pope still Catholic, or do you, can you get back to me round 2 on that, alright?
Let me Google this.
Let me Google this. Alright, so Jonathan finds a Mutavault of his own, reminiscent of the days when, speaking of Fat Elspeth,
Oh.
there she is, going to make some 1/1 dudes. And that's so strong because, like, now Scott can't attack. I mean, he can attack, but it's a fog the whole turn, right?
Right.
And depending on how he wants to line up his attacks, Johnson can pick off a Mutavault if he wants to, or something like that, which I'm sure he's more than willing to do. So Elspeth starts on 5, then a -2. No, she starts on
4 and plus.
and goes up 1 to make the dudes, -2 to Retribution of the Meek,
Sounds about right.
4 and above.
Their ultimate doesn't do anything.
Someone will look it up in a minute.
It wins the game, but any Planeswalker's ultimate in this deck would win the game.
Yeah.
Except Jace's.
It's a good ultimate, though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Jace's could come in pretty handy here. Go get your Etheling. Go get one of his cards.
Jace's ultimate isn't very good, but to be fair, you're supposed to be -2ing him a lot.
Yes.
Those 2 burn spells, you just show it.
Skullcrack.
Skullcrack from earlier. He's keeping that really awkward Mutavault and Mountain up forever.
So is Jonathan just dead here?
I think he's throwing off the has another card in his hand.
Yeah.
Jonathan should be at 2.
He is at 2. Skullcrack end of turn while Jonathan is tapped out. So Scott needs to force through some damage here. There's no situation in which you can not attack
Yeah, I think
Jonathan,
you gotta.
right?
I think you
You
gotta
just animate both your dudes, pile in.
Yeah,
He has to.
because at this point he has to block, and you can't let him get overran with tokens on his side, or this game is going to be turned.
Well, it's not like I was suggesting that he wasn't going to attack. I was just thinking,
all in.
some other situation in which he would use the mana for something else.
His problem is if he just drew like a Fire Fist Striker. Or, like, any 1-drop's fine. Oh, that's a weird attack.
Well, he's going to cast...
The only 3-drop should be a Chandra's Phoenix.
Well, it's a 2-drop because he can't afford to animate, so it's effectively a 2-drop. I love this block.
Yeah, it's definitely correct.
I'm getting a lot of lag here, so I apologize for that. I do not know what's up.
Should I not be downloading movies and music and everything right now?
I don't know. And it's a Cackler and a Fire Fist Striker. So he is representing four attackers here, but Elspeth's going to make more guys. Plus he has Mutavault up. Plus he has Counterspell Magic up.
Untap. Yeah, that was bad. He really needed to win that last turn.
And Sphinx's Revelation while Scott was tapped out to play around Skullcrack, get him out of burn range.
Sounds like someone just took a spear.
So Scott playing off the top here. He can animate and still have 2 mana up. So we're going to pile in here. Fire Fist Striker is going to trigger. So Jonathan's only going to be able to block 4. So he's going to take take 4 no matter what here.
Just lose a Fire Fist Striker. Seemed like his Skullcrack was premature. I'm not sure why he casted that last turn.
I think he was just trying to get it in while Jonathan was tapped out and then live off the top. But yeah, you would much rather it in response to the Sphinx's Revelation. But then you have to play reactively.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I think that's what his line was.
Yeah. I get it if he had like another burn spell. I just don't get it.
Well, I felt when he cast that, I felt like he did have another burn spell, which is why I was curious as to why we were untapping and drawing and not just showing it. But then he didn't have the extra burn. So is Scott deciding where he wants to attack? Maybe he has animated. Jonathan's tapped out, so he can't be making any decisions, right? You have to just attack everybody.
With everything.
1 token can't block because of the battalion trigger, so we do take out. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the correct play.
It's good for you.
Yep, drops the Jonathan down to the deuce. We can officially declare that the deuce is loose.
Now, should Mute? Okay,
No.
I was about to say.
I was about ready to go out there and grab him as well. So it looks like the last card was a mountain. And I really feel like this game is... I don't know, Jonathan's going to need to have chained into another life gain spell, but he's done a pretty good job stabilizing. At this point, I'm just concerned about whether or not Jonathan can win this game before time is out.
Yeah.
If Jonathan plays this deck tomorrow, he's going to need to expedite some decision-making.
Yeah, being addicted to nicotine, I'm a big fan of the 10 turnarounds. Get that out of the way.
I like them at big tournaments to play combo decks because then I can just go get something to eat. Or use the facilities mid-round. That's important. You don't want to be trying to go in there and do your business in the 53rd minute of the round. Because you know who else is in there? Everybody else. Well, we're going to talk about going to the bathroom. Meanwhile, we're going to see a Spear of Heliod making an appearance, which make these Elspeth tokens that have just been generated 2/2s. So at least Jonathan, if he does survive, if Scott doesn't find one of the relatively few burn cards in the top of his deck, and Jonathan doesn't have a counterspell ready, Jonathan's actually going to be able to win this game pretty quickly. And he does have dissolve mana up here.
Probably should have attacked with one of those.
It's not going to be blocking, so.
See, if he gets a burn spell, it's just getting cast at his head. He's never going to remove a blocker with it.
Yep.
I don't think there's any haste creatures.
The Ash Zealot?
Yeah.
Ash Zealot, that's
and
fair.
Phoenix.
Can't block Chandra's Phoenix.
Well, he has a Mutavault open. And like you said, if he draws a burn spell, he's gonna.
So it's swinging him.
You just block dudes here, don't you? Just trades.
Yeah.
I really don't understand what we're thinking about here, boys.
No.
You just block the 2 creatures because either of them is lethal.
So I think I'm gonna let that through.
There's no trick. There's no trick. Oh well, I mean that's fine.
Yeah, that's the block right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill one of each, and then Scott just going to pass back. So he's drawn another blank, or possibly.
Has to be another land or something. Like,
Do you think he's holding a burn spell for waiting for a Speak Revelation, something for like a tap out? So he can
I
get
don't
that
think
through?
Jonathan's ever going to tap out again.
that was the spot to cast it there. Like, he had the mana to play around to syncopate.
Yeah,
Like,
and
he could have paid 2
he's gonna
and
lose
his burn spells.
Yeah, he's going to lose to his dissolve no matter what. So there's a Ratchet Bomb on 0. Seems basically irrelevant. We're going to make more Elspeth tokens, and we're going to serve in with the other 2. That makes it a 3-turn clock. If you attack with your Mutavault, I think you can get there in 2. And he is. So there's 6, right? Dropping him down to 18.
Yep.
And then next turn, attack with 6 guys for 12. No, down to 17, sorry, because the Mutavault gets pumped as well.
Yep.
So next turn, he's looking at 13, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 10, and then 13. Well, I will tell you this. Win or lose, Scott's going to have much better sleeve ink than Jonathan does in this matchup.
It's very true.
Jonathan really came unprepared for the tattoo battle.
Yeah.
That's something he's going to have to work on tomorrow if he wants to go deep.
I think there's a 24-hour place around the corner. He's 18.
You are not wrong, actually. There is you can, within walking distance here, you can go to 3 Asian restaurants. You can also go get a drink at Mojo's, and you can get a tattoo, and there's a cigarette shop too.
Lowest price cigarettes.
Siggy shop. Siggy shack. Is that what it's called? Siggy shack.
So is a tattoo parlor 24 hours?
No idea.
Because that would be amazing.
Isn't every tattoo parlor kind of 24 hours?
I don't know. The ones where I come from are usually pretty skeezy, and you don't want to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's next door to the bar, so I figure that's gonna.
That's your main client.
Well, yeah, let's go get drunk and get a tattoo. That's always a good idea.
And I think time has just been called in around. Again, our clock is for entertainment purposes only, but I do think JB just called the time, so I think we're in turn 1 here. So Jonathan can't kill him with his current board state, especially since Scott has a blocker and he can't afford to all-out swing. But he does have a 2-turn clock here. Oh wait, can we ultimate Elspeth?
We can.
Is that too risky though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get +2/+2 in flying.
Yeah, but she would still be alive as well.
Does Elspeth have a -7 or -8?
It's -7, I believe.
Let's ask the MTG bot. Yep. It's -7 because we just ultimated here.
Yep.
We've got the emblem even. We've got some glare.
Because he's classy. You know, me, I would have just took a dice.
I really do like the emblem's not the biggest deal, but it's very important for you to have the tokens that your deck makes.
Oh, we got a...
Okay, guys, that is time.
No, there's time.
5 more.
Lightning strike.
Oh, no
and it's
counter!
just good enough.
Wow.
Wow.
Get that red deck.
Scott's like, if I'd have known that, I'd have played it earlier.
I do think don't you do that during his upkeep if you're going to do that?
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, because you just don't give him the extra card.
Yeah.
But does not have the counter spell, so good game there. That's actually a really good game of Magic. I mean, obviously, the red deck is a focuses on resource management. You got to do the best with the cards you got, and sometimes playing the red deck does feel, as someone who's played a lot of red cards in life, you do feel kind of exasperated at some point because there's nothing you can really do anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
Clip.
Yo.
You're being paged.
Yeah, I am. My fans, they can't wait. Zach, it was good seeing you this
All right,
evening.
bud.
I will see you tomorrow.
Are you guys taking off?
Probably.
All right,
Something like
man.
that.
All right, well, we'll see you in the morning for sure.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
Bye, internet people.
You're going to be in here a lot tonight
Plenty of time.
because you're going to be doing a lot of casting them red cards. Should be fun. But yeah, like playing the red deck, you always get like a little bit kind of. At some point, you don't get to play Magic anymore because you have to use all of your resources to get that 20 points in, and then at some point you're top decking Stromkirk Nobles against Aetherlings, and you can't get there. So, but sometimes you get them down to 2, and you draw the Lightning Strike when you need to.
I mean, the red deck, like playing Blue Green Madness for ages, it was like playing Wild Mongrel decks. It was always the most beautiful thing ever to get them to exactly 0 with the exact pump on your Mongrel on like the 5th turn. That's how a lot of red decks pan out. You just have to use those resources perfectly.
You absolutely do.
Also chaps my balls when people say that it's the easy deck to play.
Yeah, well, trust me, the last time I played Standard consistently was Zendikar Scar Standard, and I played Goblins the almost entire time. There's a period, I played Boros, then I switched to Goblins, and then I dabbled in just mono red, like more red deck wins, but the Goblins are just too fun for me. Like, I just really like Goblin Chieftain. Like, it's just very fun. And the Battlecry Goblin and Ember Hauler, like, those are my boys. So, but like, I won a lot of like store credit and playing those cards, and it was never because it was easy. And that's not to say that I'm like a great Magic player, but like, I guarantee you, if you gave the same deck to an inexperienced player in the same situation, they would just get floor wiped, because there's, like you say, you've got to not. I mean, I don't remember how many times like I would play a Goblin Guide against a blue-white control deck, because this is like Cobblade and post Cobblade Standard. Like, play a Goblin Guide turn 1 against a control deck and never play another creature until they answered that Goblin Guide. Because there's some games where you just like, I'm not going to let you 1,000,000 for 1 me with your Day of Judgment. Like, I'm just going to end of turn bolt you, and then eventually this Goblin Guide's going to do 8 damage by itself. And then you're going to have to make the worst trade ever, and you're going to tap out, and then I'm going to slam a Koth or a Hero or some other 4-drop. Yeah, it's very much about, it's like I said, you have to maximize your resources so much. So you can't just play your dudes. Green White Little Kids is a little bit more. So we got round 2.